Okay. So I'm kind of laughing because I felt really drawn to doing a reading today with an oracle deck. And I pulled 4 cards in this formation just to get a feel for it. I'd never used the deck before, and I just kind of wanted to see what it was like reading with the deck. I wasn't sure if I was going to use the reading. And I sat on it and I kind of enjoyed it, and I dug it. And I was like, well, this is good, but I feel like maybe it's my first time with the deck and it's all oracle cards. I wanted to get some traditional tarot in there. And so I pulled out the Spirit Within Tarot again because it's just got some really great like symbolic imagery that I would say is more traditional than a lot of our other decks that are available. And it gave me the exact same reading. It found a way to give me pretty much the same basic message. And so I'm gonna see, I don't know with my oracle cards here if I put them back right on the top. I did. So the other deck that I was playing around with is the Magical Dimensions oracle deck that we have available. And I've been feeling drawn to this deck for a couple of weeks now, but every time I pull it out and get my hands on it, I remember that it's an oracle deck and not a tarot deck, and I decide, okay, some other time, or I'll use it for a secondary deck or something, and I end up never doing the reading. So here's the book. I've got the book with me. I'm gonna pull these cards out as well as, you know, what we pulled out with our traditional tarot. And so we had the Page of Swords. When I initially did the reading, I got Emotional Freedom from that oracle deck. We have the 8 of Pentacles, and I originally got the Promise from the oracle deck, and that is a more romantic card than the 8 of Pentacles, but the message that I got from it was pretty similar. Then we got Harmonic Resolution, and that is the 9 of Cups reversed for the tarot reading. And then with the Ace of Wands, I got the Third Eye Portal with this oracle deck. So I'm gonna kind of try and explain to you a little bit why I felt like these messages were exactly the same. And it's just kind of, I don't know, maybe some other readers will see this video and they'll kind of understand exactly how I felt when I decided, well, let's redo the reading, and you get the same message anyways. It's kind of like, wow, universe, okay, I'm listening. So yeah, let's kind of get into it a little more. We have the Page of Swords, which we've had a lot recently, and then same with the Ace of Wands. It seems to be coming up, so it's a pretty solid theme, I think, for the month. And so the Page of Swords is that new, curious energy, and it's reversed, so it's sort of like that kid who's asking too many questions and is like way too excited about stuff way at the beginning. And then paired with the Emotional Freedom card. The Emotional Freedom card is vulnerability, flowing, rebalancing, but also if you go through the book and read it, it has a lot of talk about, well, basically what I instinctively got from the card when I pulled it and read it, especially going with what's going on this week, going into the holidays, like all of the major holidays are happening this week, is basically being true to yourself, properly expressing yourself, kind of taking those core inner parts of you and taking them out of the dark and putting them out in the open. There's been a lot of talk in a lot of our most recent readings about being secretive or a little more private about ourselves or the things that we're working on. And then, you know, it's that time of year where we're exposed to some people that we only see this time of year. We don't see them throughout the rest of the year. People are going to be asking us questions about how we're doing and what we have going on. And I feel like almost at this point, human instinct to kind of just answer the way you think they want you to answer. Like when someone says, how are you? And you say, oh, I'm doing well. A lot of times we're not doing well, but it just seems like the polite thing to say. And I think we all kind of fall into that trap of like, oh, you know, like I just want to be received well. And so I'm just going to say what I think people want to hear. And after a few years of doing that, you've kind of betrayed yourself a little bit. And one of the other meanings of the Page of Swords, specifically reversed, is that if there's ever a sign that you need to properly express yourself or have emotional freedom with the people around you when you're in a safe environment, this is a great sign or a great indication that that's what needs to happen in your life. So I felt those two cards went hand in hand together really well. With the 8 of Pentacles and the Promise. The Promise in this deck is a very lovers, like Two of Cups vibe. It's very romantic in that sense, but it also could just be partnership or success in the sense of like a business venture or a project that you're working on or an idea that you have. And it also is a huge card of self-love. And then the Eight of Pentacles is the apprentice, somebody who is taking on tasks to improve themselves. I think the Eight of Pentacles talks to the Page of Swords really well here. We've got this idea that we're super curious and we're excited about a thing that's going on. Maybe we want to be better at it before we share it with other people, or we want to be improving ourselves, and so we can take the message from the Eight of Pentacles, which is to be a diligent learner. It could even mean like taking classes or getting help from a mentor. But basically it's kind of telling us that we are going to take the steps in order to find success in either a new or revised venture in our life. And that could be by way of getting help from somebody else, which speaks to the Promise card in that sense. Also, it's this idea that we are loving ourselves and we are building ourselves up so that we can upgrade our love experience. We're making improvements and we're doing what we can to treat ourselves well so that we know how we want to be treated by others, whether that's romantically or not. There's also a big sensation of a soul connection between the two of these. I would say these two cards varied the most in the reading, but they still seemed to be giving the same message of share yourself unapologetically with others. And then with these two cards, the Eight of Pentacles and the Promise, it's sort of love yourself so that you can successfully share yourself with others, so that you can properly express, your personal boundaries and your expectations and get that harmonic resolution from the people around you. We have the Nine of Cups card here with the Harmonic Resolution Oracle card. And the Nine of Cups card is often known as the wish card. It's sort of like you have all of this stuff behind you and then you have this one cup next to you that you really want this to happen. Normally it means that if you have hopes, you're probably going to achieve them. Whatever it is you're wishing for, it's on the way. This card is reversed. It's telling me that maybe we were wishing for a little too much, or we have the wrong expectations. We're wishing for something and it's going to come our way, but it's going to bring a lot of responsibility with it that we weren't expecting. So it might not be quite the blessing that we think it's going to be. And with harmonic resolution, that's negativity, anger, transmutation. I think that's a great word because it is the sensation that we can take our expectations and we can take, basically, again, referring to this week from the 16th to the 23rd, we're kind of talking about the biggest week of holiday seasons here, and we're going to have friends and family and people around us, and our social interaction, specifically emotionally, with the cups here, it's going to be tested in multiple ways, like in good ways, bad ways, anything you can think of, essentially. Probably more than most other times of the year. And so, we are coming into contact with people that we might need some conflict resolution with, or our expectations of them might not be realistic because we haven't been honest with ourselves or with the people around us, and so we can't properly expect them to respect our boundaries and love us the way that we love ourselves because we haven't communicated that to them yet. And so these three cards, I think, are really having an important conversation. We're trying to get through this end of the year, without as much conflict as possible. I think we're trying to get through any week of the year without conflict or anything. And so I think this card is specifically telling us to be a little more realistic about what we want and what we're trying to bring into our lives and what we expect from the people around us and what we expect of ourselves, and just sort of express that as honestly as we can so that we can get honest responses and make the adjustments we need to make so that this goes smoothly. I know I love seeing my family. I'm super excited that I get to do that this year. I know some people seeing their family, it's not as nice and it can be stressful. And even for me, it can be stressful, whether I'm happy about it or not. And so I keep getting this sensation of kind of family conflict or friend conflicts, potentially new relationships, bringing those new relationships into the family unit. So definitely this sensation of sort of like, we have all of these really, really old things And that is another theme of that particular card, is sort of we're working through a lot of these old thought processes that we've been carrying with ourselves for years and years and years, and they don't really apply to our lives now. So what can we release, from that anger and that negativity that no longer serves us? It doesn't serve the situation. It's not even relevant anymore. Why are we still acting on it, or why are we carrying it around? And if we release it, what good is that going to bring back to us, either to our relationships or our situation, the level of stress we have in our lives. Basically, letting go of what doesn't matter anymore so that you can be happy about what does, I think is kind of the general message I'm getting there. And then it's just like, I guess like an advice card, or some sort of just what energy can we bring into the following week, or what should we carry out of the week with us. I got the Ace of Wands and the Third Eye Portal. So we've been getting the Ace of Wands a lot too. The Ace of Wands is another high energy card. We've got Swords, which is going to be sort of like your intellect, and then Wands is going to be like your fire suit, essentially. So it's a lot of inspiration, it's a lot of creativity. And then the Third Eye Portal is a lot of spirituality. Third eye, essentially, specifically meaning, that final chakra. We've got vision, clairvoyance, clarity, and confusion. And then, the Ace of Wands is like, it's a very new beginning. And so I think we've been getting that card a lot because we are coming up on the end of a decade, and we are coming up on the beginning of a new one, which is a big sort of feel right now. And I think we should be trusting our instincts of these situations that we're walking into. I think we should be bringing a lot of our creative solutions and creative thinking into that situation. I want to read a little bit about the Third Eye Portal here, and then also what the other book says about the Ace of Wands, just because it felt so right to me. For the oracle interpretation of this card, your clairvoyant, psychic, and visionary abilities are expanding and stretching right now. Own your gifts and begin activating them because they are very important for you. You need to see the situation with more clarity. To clear confusion and the monkey mind, engage in activities that will calm the mind and begin to refocus. Meditation will be helpful. This situation also requires activating your vivid imagination for unique solutions. And with vivid imagination comes the Ace of Wands. We've gotten a lot of the same sort of messages here between these two in the last couple of readings, specifically grounding yourself so that you have good clarity. I think there's a chance that we are sort of looking at things from face value because we're not used to using that more intuitive sensation that we have naturally. And so we keep getting like the High Priestess card, we keep getting these reminder cards that are sort of like, hey, you have this skill, you should use it, because it's like, we're funneling a lot of energy into you right now in this particular area of your life. So, if you have those gut feelings or you have those instincts, don't ignore them just because they don't seem relevant or important, or maybe because it's a skill you don't normally use and so it feels a little alien to you. Do it. Follow those gut feelings. Like, you might have a lot more intuition, or I guess you could say psychic ability, vision or clairvoyance than you think you do. And especially because this keeps coming up in a lot of the most recent readings, I kind of feel like I just need to reiterate with everybody who's watching, like, follow that instinct. Challenge it a little bit. Like, do what you feel like you need to do in order to act on it. Start small, if it seems kind of scary, but like, I feel like we all sort of always know what the situation is going to be like. But, we follow these social constructs, or we say yes to things, or maybe overextend ourselves a little bit more because it seems like the socially correct thing to do or the polite thing to do, which is another theme that keeps coming up. So I think a lot of this is saying, like, just be honest with yourselves, be honest with the people around you, follow your gut feeling. Like, that all seems to be kind of coming through for this entire month so far in December. For the Ace of Wands in the Spirit Within Tarot, it says, I am the one who brings pure energy to any situation. I am the seed of arousal, excitement, enthusiasm, and action. I am the spark of energy at the beginning of all adventures. And I really liked this because it sort of is like, we're going into a new year. Not quite yet. I mean, thankfully we've got more than a week, ahead for us, but we are going into a new year and a new decade. It is the seed of fire. It is the drive required to getting things moving. This card holds potential for unlocking energy. It is a fantastic omen for creativity, sport, or starting a new project. And we're very clearly starting a new project. We're excited kids running around asking a million questions. We're working on a skill. Some of us might have gone back to school to improve our current skills. And we have a lot of accomplishments we've already made, and we're kind of trying to take all of these things and turn them into sort of an inventory that we can take and expand on in the next, in the coming year. And so I think these two messages are sort of like two sides of the same coin. It's, we are actively and creatively thinking about what we can do and what we can bring into this next chapter of our lives. And also we are wanting to make sure that we're spiritually involved and feeling fulfilled in the same endeavor. So I don't know if you felt like all of these cards were the same. That, like, to me, it just was like plain as day. I laid these 4 cards out and I was like, okay, so we're doing this again. So if you had any other interpretations based off of like what these cards are kind of saying to each other, or if you felt like maybe the oracle cards didn't have a place at all in the reading, or I would love to hear what you thought. But I got the same general kind of message. Like, if I could sum it up, it's be yourself unapologetically, know yourself and your boundaries and the boundaries of others. Carry that into improving yourself and your self-love and your expectations of other people and the people who are going to be close to you, so that you can let go of those aspects of your relationships that aren't serving the relationship and are only bringing, more stress and strife into your life, and find harmony and resolution there. And, take all of what you've learned in this situation and all of the situations before it and turn it into sort of a new mantra or a new way of thinking that you can use in the upcoming year as a way to sort of better yourself and your relationships. So it's a pretty productive reading, I think, for the week. It's going to be a busy week for a lot of us, I think. This week and next week are going to be a lot. And then we'll be going right into a new year, which usually is just as busy. So it's no surprise to me that we have this like wand and sword energy that keeps coming up in all of these readings. And yeah, we're getting all of our ducks in a row. We're trying to work on ourselves emotionally. I love that there's Pentacles representation here in this reading now, because a lot of this hard work that we've been putting in, it hasn't just been for our emotions, it's been for our lives. It's been tangible work. A lot of us probably have stuff that we can show people physically. Like, this is what I've accomplished this year. Like, I've got a lot behind me, and this is what I'm doing to make sure I keep adding to that. So I like it. I thought it was a cool reading. I thought it was funny that I got it twice in the same day. So I just wanted to share that with you guys, and I hope that it resonated with you or gave you a message or a bit of advice that you can take with you into this week. And thank you so much for letting me read for you. Have a good one.